Article 5, the Constitution, as been mentioned, gives two options to amend the Constitution. If you're taking time to read the Article 5, and it hasn't been used yet, for whatever reason is beyond my comprehension, it offers the sitting Congress, which is a standing convention, to offer amendments to the Constitution. That's been done now, 27 times? Some people say that if we allow the states, which is the second half of that Article 5, to get together, all 50 states come together and propose amendments to change the Constitution, that they will propose some outlandish things like taking away the Second Amendment. Now, who in the world, in their right mind, thinks that there will be 38 states come together to ratify a proposed amendment, or even propose the amendment? It takes 26 states to propose it and send it out to the states for ratification. But who in their right mind thinks that there will be 38 states to ratify an amendment that would destroy our right and freedom to carry arms? Or even the First Amendment, our right to free speech. Who in their right minds would think that we would do something like that? I don't think that we would. And for those naysayers who think it is a possibility, well, it only takes 13 states to say no, and they nix that particular amendment. So the second half of the Article 5 states that if 34 states, upon application to the Congress, request a convention, then the Congress has no alternative to call for that convention. We already recognize there's a problem. It was mentioned by the gentleman from Green that we have nearly $20 trillion in debt. But yet, we still continue to dole out money like it grows on trees. In fact, just this week, we heard in one of our committees a bill that will continue to give money to my own profession outside this legislative body, money that was taken from someone else, something that does not belong to someone else, and then they give it to someone else which they haven't earned. That's what we call legal plunder. And our government continues to do that, and quite frankly, we continue to stamp our approval on it, and that's just outright wrong. But back to the problem of the federal government. We need to rein in their authority because we have a president who, by the power of his own pen, continues to make laws through his executive orders. We have a court that makes law from the bench, and we have regulatory agencies that continue to write rules and regulations. They all carry the full force and effect of law. If you look at Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution, it says that only the Congress makes the law. It says all legislative power herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. In our own Article 3, Section 1 of our state constitution mimics that language that says the legislature makes the laws, yet we cede our authority to others the same way. So we have problems, it's admitted. It's not just financial, but it's the authority that they're taking to usurp their lawmaking ability. And then the solution we're getting to, and that's where we get our ability to call a convention of the states who agree there's a problem, and we have solutions that will rein in the federal government, restrict their ability to spend in their outlandish ways that they're doing, and then we can come up with a solution that's proper. And Mr. Speaker, may I inquire the gentleman from Montgomery, please?
Gentleman from Montgomery, do you yield?
I do.
Proceed, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
There's a concern that was floating around the body for a couple of years, and I think we've addressed that in this resolution. Can you tell me what that solution is?
Yeah, that solution is a sunset on the call. And you and I have had this conversation before.
I didn't hear you, gentlemen. What did you say that was?
A sunset on the call itself.
A sunset. And what's that going to amount to?
Basically, what that's going to do is this way this call is not just out there forever. You know, I believe, I think you do too, that a call for a convention to change our Constitution is something that shouldn't be taken lightly, and it should be done in the right manner at the right time. And one thing that I'd like about that sunset is I think now's the right time, and that when we send people to the convention from Missouri, there will be people here in this body that will remember this call. And so I think that's extremely important, that this call doesn't go out 20 years from now from our actions today, and nobody's here today in 20 years, and to understand that. And if it's a good idea in 5 years from now, which it probably will be, we will move that call again. But there's other calls that the state has done that are sitting out there floating with that concern, and that was a concern of mine. And I know we've talked about that over quite a few years, haven't we?
Yes.
And so I am glad to support the resolution today because of the sincereness of it. As well as the need that our federal government needs to do something, and hopefully our calls maybe gets them off their feet and does it without a convention, or we can go to a convention where every state can have a say in what's going on and come up with a resolution.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the inquiry. Mr. Speaker, may I just make one final comment?
Proceed, gentlemen.
Thank you for the leeway. I do know that there's a problem. I think we all recognize that. I believe this is one way that our founders gave us to remedy the problem. So I encourage the body to support this HCR 57. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.